time to get into the next series of the day, a best of 5 between Rogue and Renegades. Let's see if Miho can be the savior that Renegades needs. Let's get into it with the commentary. It's Shogun and Final Carpet. Take it away, guys.
With their backs against the wall and everything to play for, it looks like Renegade's going to be subbing in Miho to see if he can be the difference maker as we head into the final stretch in the North American League play. Carpet, what do you think of that move?
This is the original trio that we saw at the beginning of season, or I guess right before Season 2 started, I think. That was one of the big seasons we were hoping they'd come in. The back, they were momentum. I believe that was Season 2. Now it's actually, I'm starting to lose it. There's been so many seasons. We're just going to get right into it, though.
And no time to wait around. You spoke momentum. Let's keep going.
I'm with it, man. I think that it's a good choice to bring him in. I mean, at this point, you got your backs against the wall, so you might as well bring out something different. See how it plays out. Maybe just honestly breaking into muscle memory as a team. These guys played together for a long time, so there shouldn't be a lot of question as to how they can perform.
Well, Renegades didn't have the greatest performance earlier on in their series, but also Rogue. So both these teams coming in from losses. Going to try and pick up a win for this week and go 1-1, and the other team is going to go 0-2. And Carpet, how are you enjoying Demolition League?
It's been ramping up throughout the day. In the beginning, there really wasn't a lot, but as these games go further, and it's hard for me to figure out if it's intentional or not, because now that it's on ball cam all the time, I never know if they're taking it off. So a lot of them, they look like accidents when I'm on their player cam.
Oh, that could go all the way in. It's slowly but surely finally going to go in. Renegades open up the scoring.
Nice wide midfield play. Miho just redirecting that towards target. Matt unable to get there, forcing Sizz to come and contest that again. No choice for him. He has to come out for that the moment that Matt didn't get contention on it. And it's going to leave a wide open shot for Timmy. It will be up. Renegades 1-0.
So there we go. Opening minute. Rogue have struggled previously. They're going to be even better off here, though. Tying it up almost instantly with one of those kickoff goals. Insolence putting that to the left, and Sizz just beating out Dapper. That's probably a mistake on Renegade's side, to be completely honest, since it was relatively neutral at the midlines. You either contested together or someone's back waiting for a shot. Because you know that's where it's going to go. No one was in either places, so it was an easy shot for Sizz to make. Well, it's going to be a consistent issue for Renegades that they've had for quite a few weeks now. That is the third kickoff goal that they've now conceded. They haven't scored a single one all season long, whilst that's going to be the fourth one there for Rogue, although they're going to happily turn this into their own lead. Wow, that was it doesn't feel like long ago since Renegades were winning. No, really not a lot of time to reset here. You see Timmy again forced in that tight spot. Insolence is just outpacing him, and even for the pace he was and how far he was, I'm pretty surprised he could get there. You okay there, bud? Yeah, I'm good. Okay, that's pretty good. You didn't have to say anything. No one would have known. Oh, everyone heard. Like, you just sound like you just stopped. Oh, there's going to be a shot though. Speaking of stopping, you aren't stopping that, and Sizz comes in for another one. I feel like, honestly, these last three goals have all been kind of from kickoff. I put air quotes in the air. They might not have been immediate, but they're all momentum that is built off of that initial trajectory of that ball coming out. The moment you get that first shot on goal, they don't have the boost, they haven't fully reset, they're all still trying to figure it out, and within 2 shots you put one in net. So this is just really quick thinking right off of kickoffs. And this is something that could really be maybe boiled down to the fact that they are playing with the sub. So they're not quite figuring out how the rotation is supposed to work. They're not quite sure who's supposed to be where straight from the off. And it's showing Renegade struggling to put themselves together quickly after the game has been restarted. Sizz flicks that one straight on, the 2-goal lead currently. Oh, there's some demolition play as Dapper gets himself the double kill. Now down to the other end, Sizz putting that pressure on, followed by Insol. There's some more demos. Oh, I love it so much. You gotta be thinking right now, Pashi is just gonna be licking his lips at the next few months of gameplay. Yeah, he is. Miho trying to get one over the top. Making his debut for this season. We saw last week Blues was actually the first substitute that we had in for any team. Didn't exactly disgrace himself, but was definitely looked at as the third on the roster, was mostly out of the way as much as he possibly could be. But Miho's going to have to try and take on a much more centralized role in this Renegade squad as they still continue to trail by 2 goals as we head into the second half of this matchup. Insol with the flick. Miho get a simple clear. Rogue recognizing their position, they don't want to overcommit. Here's Sizz. Oh wow, he's read that so well! Oh, open up the book, Sizz reads it. My goodness.
Well, the goal, oh man, that actually was a really nasty read. The goal, it was circumstantial. It just kind of happened. Either way though, the dunk was phenomenal. Able to put it right back down. It still would have been positioned very centralized, and he was there for a potential follow-up with a teammate just shadowing him right behind. So still an incredible read, resulting in, this time, a goal.
Well, there's Sizz's hat trick. Did not take long for him to get it. The first game in this matchup, and for Renegades, remember, they must get at least 2 wins in this series, otherwise they will be eliminated from league play. As Insolences is getting bullied in the corner by Miho. This might actually open up an opportunity, and there it is. Dapper turns it in.
Speaking with Gibbs earlier, when you're talking about Renegades, he said it felt like Timmy was oftentimes alone on offense and that Dapper didn't feel comfortable coming up or just really wasn't there to support. But he's still got it. He shows us nearly every series at least 1 or 2 goals that are very impressive and very difficult to execute, but it's a matter of when and the comfort of being able to come up with your teammate. So maybe having Miho there is just making him feel a little bit more comfortable in his position.
Well, Gibbs is entirely right. Timmy scored himself 8 goals solo this entire season. That's more than anybody else. There's Dapper, gonna push that straight into the corner. 2 goals still to go. Renegades need to try and force this. This might be an opportunity. 2 players coming together though. And now Timmy needs to get a block, but he doesn't even commit. Sizz can now take this on the wall. Takes his time.
He had no boost, but he just forced them to not contest it.
Oh, it's more time wasted away for Rogue. They're trying to take this opening game now towards the middle. Miho playing into the corner. He's going to have time now to try and figure out what his next move wants to be. It's now set up for Dapper, but Matt is everywhere on the defense. And there is Sizz, just waiting, lurking, and scoring.
That is his 4th goal on 6 shots. So his accuracy is boosting right now. His shots are going up. Timmy grounded. All Sizz had to do was put it above him beautifully, right underneath the crossbar, just above Timmy as well. Probably didn't have he probably didn't have sights on Timmy, to be honest. So he probably didn't know exactly where Timmy was. He had to kind of guess where it was, but keeping it high is always a safe bet.
That goal, Sizz now equals Matt for the most goals in a single game for a player on Rogue this season. Here comes Matt, though.
Never mind.
And yeah, the double tap king.
We've seen it before, man. Matt has always been on every single highlight reel every single week. Maybe not always, but very, very frequently. An incredibly strong striker. And he's proven it. Even though right now, bottom leaderboard of his team, doesn't really matter.
You can definitely criticize Matt for certain things. Definitely play around the field, but when it comes to shooting, there might be none better, although Dapper, he might have some arguing to do with that. A very slow opening week, but he's been looking more and more solid as the weeks have gone along.
So, not a lot left to talk about right now, since both these teams seem to just be going for fantasy points at this point. A lot of goals being scored, not a lot of defense being played. In your opinion, Shogun, as far as what Renegades have to do to perform, it's really hard to kind of gauge how they're performing off of just this one and first game, since they haven't played with Miho yet. We're seeing subs get used a lot more. Is there anything you think that should he let Dapper and Timmy do their thing, or should he try and interject more?
Interject as much as you possibly can, in my opinion. The more and more isolated you make a player, the more and more difficult it is for them to get anything going. And when they are inevitably brought into question, they tend to make mistakes because, oh my god, okay, I've finally got to play. I've got no momentum on my side. I have got no acceleration, and sometimes I don't even have any boost. So get him as involved as you possibly can.
Funny enough, that's how I felt about Insolences week 1 and week 2. It felt like Insolences was waiting for a time to interject between Matt and Sizz, and it never happened. So then they ended up stumbling on top of each other. So the more that they've worked things out, you can tell right now, I mean, it seemed to be favored in Sizz's behalf, but it didn't really feel like Sizz was ball chasing by any means. Circumstantially, he just happened to be the last touch for a lot of those goals. But Renegades, I think the same situation. Kind of fall back to your roots. Understand that you're all 3 very capable. I think it's almost better to let your sub do your thing and let the 2 guys that know each other adapt to him. Because when one guy's trying to read 2 people he's not comfortable with, it's way harder. But if 2 guys just kind of know where each other are all the time and are trying to just read the one, might be a bit easier. But it also depends on the skill level of your sub.
Yeah, like it's a case of as well, we don't actually know how much time they've got in. It's not like it was with Ghost last week where Blues was literally grab someone right now.
Yeah.
And we can pull him in. He's been there for a while. He's been, like, there's been arguments back and forth of should it be Moses, should it be Miho on that starting lineup. I'm sure that they've got time and hours put in on him. Just need to transfer it now. The problem they've got is that that time and hours will not even be close to comparable to the amount of time Rogue's been playing together.
Yeah, that's true. Especially just Matt and Sizz in general. It's really unfair to compare it to just duos because it's a threes thing. You can always talk about how two people have played together for a long time, which is still always some sort of point of conversation. But in general, once you add that third, everything can change. This seemed to be... That first game was a mess, to be honest. I'm going in this kind of with a blank slate on my brain because that felt like a bit of a mess. I'm hoping that things can get cleaned up on both sides, to be honest. And we'll see exactly where Renegades stands with their substitute.
It really was a case of sometimes for game one, we see teams be very passive, very careful with what they're trying to do next. In that first game, though, oh no, we're just going to throw lever. Speaking of which, Sizz, I think just actually created fireworks.
Yeah, that was
that demo in the air.
That's pretty great.
Do it again. Sinsolkin has an opportunity, and there it is, the rear admiral for Insolences.
I watched him hop off the wall, and it seemed like it was an uncomfortable jump. He recovered. What? I don't even know how he executed a jump that quickly. The moment his four wheels hit that back wall, he jumped out immediately.
But we cannot ignore. Timmy was in the corner, and he did a whole lot of nutting when it came to that ball. Renegades need to make sure that they can prevent stuff like that happening in the future. Struggling when playing from behind. It's going to be the same situation for them yet again in this match. And as we said earlier, they have to be picking themselves up some wins, otherwise they will be eliminated.
Well, at least down at the bottom.
Very close to the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I just mean eliminated. It wouldn't be gone. It would just be...
Well, if they get swept, then yes.
Fair.
Timmy trying to get over there. Go straight to the other side. His Insolences gets the pass into the middle. He does get demoed, but Matt closing in as quickly as he possibly could. Timmy now with the air drag. Actually gets it. Oh, he gets it to Dapper. Okay, my friends, that's how we like to see it.
We've seen him do this quite frequently. He saw Dapper down there, Sizz coming up. He didn't even get that second touch. That really wasn't much of an air drag in the scheme of things. But again, the threat of just being behind the ball, and everyone knows how capable Timmy is at his air drag. So just him being there was a big enough threat to force Sizz to come out and open up that shot for Dapper. Tie game.
It's Matt with a flick up in Sol. Let's take it down to the other end of the pitch. That's actually a bumping pass using the pull shot. There's the follow-up shot there, off the crossbar, off the crossbar. It's a team full of greasy meisters on Rogue. Oh no, I meant Renegades, sorry. I was too busy getting my shot off that I also missed. Dapper. Yes, Carpet, you have something to say to that?
I think you were right, it was Rogue.
No, Rogue, yeah, it is Rogue. Oh my goodness. I suck at this commentary thing.
It's okay, it's jet lag. Blame jet lag.
Yeah, it's only been like a month.
Yeah, jet lag.
Dapper. That backboard. Insolences cannot get contact, and Miho runs on, but hits him at the top end of his car, so cannot generate any power or accuracy. So now we're still all tied up as we head into the second half of this matchup. Miho and Dapper both were in the corner. Timmy had to just shake out, or shake off Matt, who was trying to go for that demo. Feels great to keep saying that over and over again. Big boom. All the time. Matt now by himself. Looks for the pass. Sizz always lingering up down the field. He is a constant option. And as long as Rogue's defense holds strong, it's a very smart way of playing.
It feels like Matt and Sizz have kind of swapped positions as the duo. Generally, Sizz was always looking for someone to pass to, and Matt was there. But now,
oh wow. Okay. Well, there's Matt pushing that one straight away and maybe justifying that pick.
Potential counterattack.
So over to the corner. Here's Timmy though with the instant challenge. 1-2. He is through.
He's got no.
And he has no moves. Trying for the wave dash. Oh, desperation.
I mean, he did it. It's a good execution, but it just still wasn't enough speed to get there in time.
I mean, it takes time to get that animation out.
Yeah. I mean, you have to go through a whole jump and then get the animation through.
There's more demos in the background. Matt with yet another long clear. There is Sizz yet again, and but due to the fact that Renegades are not utilizing any midfield challenges or pressure, Sizz can get away with that as long as he wants. There's Matt pushing Timmy. He's actually managed to clout Timmy into his teammate, but that will not make too much of a difference. Heading into the final minute, we are still all tied up. As Matt gets there first. He's going to go up high. Sizz not expecting that bounce. The arcing part of the wall. Another long shot. That's going to go off that crossbar. Sizz get it over the top. Here could be Rogue's opportunities. They start getting it forward. Sizz can look for the setup. He's got it over to the middle. His insolence is. It's as we said earlier, Carpet against G2. So close every single time, but just not quite capable of making contact for the finish.
Luckily this time they're tied, so it's not a losing opportunity, but they do need to be very careful. A single mistake and they will be facing down a counterattack from Renegades.
Here's Timmy. Gets that one up high. There's going to be no one helping him out though, yet still some boost wasted on the side of Rogue. They sent 2 players for that. Insol trying to get the block. You aren't no Sizz. Speaking of Sizz, gets the pass, almost looking for Matt. Basically switching roles for a second, and now Matt's looking for demos over in the background. But once this ball hits the floor, we will hit overtime. And Rogue, there's currently 0 and 3 in overtimes. Can they change it here? Renegades only been in 1, I believe so. I mean, they've been in 4 so far this season. They've won 1 of them.
They seem a lot more confident just in this series alone. And a drop down, Bio getting jumped by Insolences. Sizz will get the touch to secure their first overtime victory this season. Sizz down, Insol going for Miho, forcing the jump. Dapper couldn't get there in time. And Rogue now 2 up in the series, looking to take this in a clean sweep for themselves.
Could be massive, especially as we start heading towards the end of the season where your current position in the rankings determines who you might be playing off against in the playoffs. For Rogue, the better they can get it, the easier matchup they will have. But for Renegades, it ended the same way again on a Carpet.
Yeah.
Very quickly off a kickoff. You brought it up in the last game. It seems to have come back to have haunted them in this game. What could be causing that for you?
For them to score on kickoff, you mean?
For them to be conceding on kickoffs for Renegades.
It's difficult to say. I think you kind of hit it as close as we can with as little information as we know about these teams' practice regimens. But since they're using someone that's not on their main roster, and they haven't probably played with Miho nearly as frequently as they had when he was on their main roster, you're not going to be as prepared right off of kickoff to know who's going where, who's going to react, and who wants to go for boost, who feel comfortable without it, who wants to contest. Rogue clearly has something every time they approach their kickoffs. They have something figured out. I'm going to go left, you stay back. I'm going to go for kickoff. I'm pushing it this way. It's actually one of those things that's very hard to notice, but you can almost, I don't want to give a percentage accuracy, but you can pretty frequently control where the ball goes.
Oh yeah, we saw it in LAN last season where Jacob was basically just losing every single kickoff on purpose to give the ball back over to his team and guarantee possession.
Surprised I don't see that more often, to be completely honest.
I'm surprised I don't see any fake kickoffs from either of these teams, to be completely honest. Especially from Renegades, considering how much they seem to be struggling with it all. Just that opportunity to just lose the ball immediately, get the hold of it, and get control of the boost might be so useful to them right now. But here we go, that's even more useful. Timmy smashing.
This bounce, everyone thought it was going to be a roll. Sizz was prepared for it. He was about to chase it, then he changed his mind. Timmy jumping off the backboard, giving Sizz a nice little love tap. Nice little love tap. Renegades up by 1. Still trying to get their first game this series.
So there we go, Renegades taking the opening goal in this game, but they did so last match as well. Weren't able to convert. Insol looking for the long pass over to Sizz. Now he's going to try and chase this one down. Low boost though, we're going to make that one difficult. There's the miss as well. The rotation might struggle here, but Sizz has got the back line covered. The original whiff there from Matt almost costing Rogue a second goal.
I mean, he need to be careful where he placed that, and he wasn't. It's going to give a beautiful passing play from Sizz to Insol. You see Timmy pushes to the side, but it bounces right back mid for Sizz.
It's usually Insol to Sizz for these sort of shots, but it can also work on the reverse side. Give the ball to Insolences, watch him rip a shot into the upper 90, and reap the rewards. 1-1, and we're still not a minute into this third game of this series. looking for a block. That could go the entire length. It will go the entire length. And Timmy going to give the lead back over to Renegades.
This is where dedicating too much to a kickoff kind of backfires. Matt went up for this. Insol had gone for the previous one. Sizz trying to retreat from kickoff and grabbing some boost. But when you dedicate a bit too hard to every single contest, a 50-50 not going in your favor, that'll happen.
Certainly will.
Classic that happening.
Yeah. Shot over to the side. Insol can look for the corner. Going to need to follow up though, and that will be Dapper with the follow-up. Every single member of Rogue sat on that goal line waiting for anything. You see Renegades just completely holding back, not wanting to get caught in the defensive trap. Miho gonna take his time. I really haven't been spending as much time watching Miho as I really feel like I should be. But I feel like that also could be credit to him, the fact of he does seem like he's fitting in on the most part. For the majority of the mistakes that have been made, I don't feel like can be attributed to him. Just been small things as Rogue have just slowly chipped away at the Renegades' defense. Once again, that midfield area belongs to Rogue. Those long passes are unchallenged every single time.
Eventually, one will find its way through if Renegades are trying to reset at that moment, or again on a retreating defense, which we've spoken about. If you're on retreating defense when a shot that fast comes from midfield, at that point you've got a percentage chance of just not being in the right position.
I mean, it's a very difficult shot, but as I can tell you as someone that tries to cherry picker all the time, if you give me 1,000,000 attempts, I am likely to score one maybe. And it's getting close to 1,000,000 attempts at this point for Rogue. Dapper flicks that up. Gonna go for the follow. Straight into the middle. Timmy taps that down. He's gonna take the confusing route on this, but he managed to confuse Sizz just enough to try and force a little bit more of a cluster in the midfield.
I think he confused himself. That second touch to drop it right in front of his car, he's like, oh, all right, I guess I'm gonna do this.
It's a case of you got the first touch poor, and you thought the second touch would help, but it just made it worse. Dapper straight to the middle, but Matt has got that covered. And Sizz just roaming every single time, looking to control the ball. He's going to be a consistent pain for Renegades to have to deal with. But they need to hold on to this 1-goal lead as we head into the final 2 minutes of this matchup. Miho going to try and help his team make it 2 goals up. It's Dapper with the ball up in the air. Insolences needs to get there, and he has done so. Miho past one. Can't get it past another. If I'm Renegades right now, I really want to be searching for that second goal. Just to try and give myself some sort of closure, and knowing the fact that Rogue have not come back from any single 2-goal deficits at all this season. Been down by 7 of those so far, so that's good records for them if they can try and get a hold of yet another goal. Insol gonna try and get that past Timmy.
What a touch.
Insol over to Sizz. Rogue just put the teamwork on.
Matt, I cannot believe Matt got that angle. And Insolences, knowing he wouldn't have any power, gave it straight down to Sizz. And again, Sizz finding himself in the cherry-picking position, always looking for a pass, always there for his team, and they will tie this game up with just over a minute remaining.
Carpet was so happy with that team play. He looks like he's in pain as he talked about it.
Yep.
That was dirty. But Renegades need now to pick themselves up yet another goal. This is the reason why I was talking about that 2-goal deficit, because they opened themselves up to this. There's going to be opportunity, but Matt gets there first. Sizz going to bully around Timmy. Miho trying to get some sort of block on Insolence's car. 2 players currently back now for Rogue, so it'll be easier for them to deal with any sort of opportunities. Sizz looking to get it into the corner. Timmy is available for the set pass. There's not enough angle though. But he's going to continue to be an annoyance in that background. As Rogue been held down here for quite a while. They're slowly going to start playing it away. But Timmy instantly coming in, getting yet another block. He's done this earlier on as well, where he can take on multiple players. Ball is high though. Timmy had no boost. The man couldn't get there, but there's Dapper with yet another slap. One more opportunity for Renegades. You have to look at it. Unless it could down to the other end. No, Insolences out of boost at the final second. Going to struggle to do anything with this, and we will head into overtime.
Will they get 2 overtimes?
Maybe. definitely is possible. But if you're a Renegades fan, you've got to be hoping on top of hope on top of hope. But that is not the case. This is must win for the Renegades. Timmy gonna take his time, almost managed to get it the entire way. There's gonna be another one off that backboard. The follow-up though from Miho was not good enough. Another scuffed shot. And now it's gonna be Rogue. Instance over to the side, available for Sis. Matt rotating himself in. Miho's gotta play this well. Matt's got it set up, but everyone on Rogue has gone back. The pass there from Dapper. This is gonna be a loose ball for the time being. Sis versus Dapper. Dapper. Very good save, actually. Gets it into the corner and can slow down the pace. You can now see everybody from Renegades are back.
Brought his team a lot of time with that.
How much boost have they got? It might not be enough. Insolences turns it in. Rogue sweep.
The Rogue pinch all the way across, and I did not mean that pun. I'm so sorry, but Matt and Dapper going up for it. Miho trying to read his teammate as best as he can, but Insolence is waiting patiently for that bounce to come all the way across net, and we will see Rogue get a clean sweep against Renegades. Renegades now in the bottom 2 spots. That is, I mean, they're not done, but then they still have to go through promotion, relegation, and a whole bunch of process.
Yep.
But as far as making it in the playoffs, it is not possible for them. And Rogue right now, sitting pretty, getting that clean sweep against Renegades, feeling pretty confident coming out of this.
So let's focus on the positives for the time being. The very positive one is Rogue bounced back ever so well from a 5-game series earlier on against G2. They will be playing next week against Ghost. That's going to be a heck of a series. That's going to be an opportunity for Ghost also to prove their championship credentials even further. But the main story here, Renegades will be in that promotion relegation series. And if you guys have been watching the RLRS, those guys that could be facing off against them are no joke.
They really want that spot, and you know, they deserve it just as much as anyone else does if they can prove it against these teams. Renegades really struggling. Yes, they were using Miho this series, and it seemed that maybe Moses took the step down. I don't know what prompted the sub usage. I'm assuming like, hey, we kind of need to do something. Let's try and get the old trio back together, but probably not enough time practicing with this exact trio right here, and they will fall on a 3-0 to Rogue. So Rogue, you know, going forward from here, we'll see how they perform.
Well, there's an awful lot to digest from that series, so let's get into it indeed. Axel, toss over to you.
Yeah, there you have it, Rogue with a great bounce back, as good as it can get for them, a 3-0 sweep over the Renegades. But as they're mentioning over there, Renegades needed to do a little bit better to remain around in contention for the playoffs. This result means they will be in the promotion relegation tournament alongside Allegiance, who's also near the bottom of the standings. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance replay, though. And again, Rogue, they did exactly what they had to do. Renegades trying to spice things up, getting Miho in there, trying to do anything to change their fortunes in this league play. But Rogue a little bit too much, a little bit too strong. They get the sweep.
Just one correction. Allegiance still has a chance at making the top 6. It's just
Renegades doesn't.
Yeah, Renegades doesn't. They are ahead of Allegiance, but Allegiance still has a chance. It's confusing. It's playoff scenarios. It's the worst
What's
week
the exact percentage chance that Allegiance has?
Don't worry about it, all right? It's 3 dice rolls, 5 coin flips, and a prairie dog. I don't know. But this series, Rogue did what they had to do. They come in, Miho's the sub, some hype probably in chat for Miho, because everyone likes watching him, and you want to see that underdog story. But Rogue, they come out 2 overtime wins after not winning any throughout the entire season. Well done by them. They have clinched a spot now in the top 6 as well. They're at 3 wins. I don't know if there's a shot for top 2. I'll check in a little bit. They would need a lot of help to get it, but I think it's almost certainly they won't get it, and they will be playing in the quarterfinals. So next week will be kind of like a warm-up game or a game where they have a chance to get a better seeding, so then they play a worse team. So, but for Rogue, they have to be happy where they are. There was a lot of question marks coming into the season of a lot of people had them down in the bottom 2 before everything. They changed to Insolences, and now they're a playoff team, and they're looking to go back-to-back world championships.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that it's a little bit unfortunate for Renegades, the way that last match went. I do have respect. We were saying, I mean, you just got to try something, right? Like, it's a difficult scenario for them to be in, especially Miho. No practice with him, I'm sure, because Rocket League and subs, it just doesn't go together well at all. So it was just a sad thing to see.
And, you know, especially for how absolutely, for how last season ended, you know, as selfless into the offseason, where they did some amazing things in the offseason at the X Games Invitational, and then they get picked up by Renegades. But then we're hearing the news, all right, maybe Timmy's not able to play as much, Miho's having other obligations, other things getting in the way. Leaves me wondering a little bit what could have been with this Renegades team, but unfortunately they just weren't not able to make it happen.
But still, they could still make it back into the Championship Series next season, playing in the promotion relegation. We were saying I think NA might be a more competitive promotion relegation series, so they could make it back. It's going to be some tough games, probably playing against Fabian and either Hollywood Hammers or Out of Style. Both those teams looking really good as well. So it's going to be tough, but they have a couple weeks now to regroup and figure that out. They still have a game next week as well to get some more experience against these top teams and then go into that and just try and do their best there.
Yeah, and do you think that they go with Miho or with Moses in the relegation series?
It's a big question. I wonder what they're going to go with next week as well.
Now you don't know. I mean, they showed that they weren't confident in their lineup, so
it's true.
Now you never know.
We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe they'll have some conversations, some communications over the next week and get some play sessions in to figure that out for themselves. But for our purposes, Renegades onto the relegation promotion tournament, I should say. and we're still awaiting an Allegiance result, but it's looking like they're likely to be there as well. Meanwhile, Rogue, incredible bounce back for them after losing earlier on in the day, getting a sweep against Renegades, especially, facing a team that's making some changes too. It can be a little bit tricky when you don't want to overpsych yourself out. But Rogue doing a great job getting that sweep, which means for us, we have one match to go. So we're going to take our final break here of the day at twitch.tv/Rocket League. When we come back, a lot of people looking forward to this one. Two of the top teams in the North America region. It's NRG against G2, a best of 5, coming up next.